Today, we answer the age-old question. Are you single because you're poor? Or are you poor because you're single? Because let me tell you, living as a single person in 2025 is pretty expensive. And then being a single parent on top of that, absolutely killer. Let's get into today's video.
Being single in Vancouver is so expensive. So in context, my ex and I broke up like about 4 or 5 months ago. He moved back to Montreal because that's where his work is, and there's no reason for me to move to Montreal. So we decided that it's best for us to take a break. He doesn't want to live in Vancouver. He's also French Canadian.
Damn, that kind of sucks. French Canadian as well, though. I definitely see Montreal being appealing. But yeah, being single in anywhere in general is definitely more expensive than being in a couple. But these major cities, unless you have like one of the good salaries to reflect it, it's insane.
And he likes his language a lot, but we're like really good friends. But let me tell you, when we lived together, prices were kind of like half. Like our rent was split, bills and utilities were split, groceries were split. When we go out, it's either split or we take turns paying. Buying furnitures, buying new things are split, unless it's something that doesn't need to be split. So I've technically been single now for almost half a year. And oh my God, it is so expensive to be single. I mean, it's technically all in perspective because we don't have kids. We don't own a property or anything, but it's almost as if it's more economically wise to be in a relationship in Vancouver.
No, it definitely is. In like pretty much any city, it is cheaper. Although I wouldn't say it's that much cheaper, because like if you're renting like a 2-bed with 2 people, so like you have a roommate, it kind of tends to be pretty similar. Probably still a bit cheaper if you are in a relationship and just renting a 1-bed, but like the difference isn't that much. But yeah, it still is a decent amount.
Than being single in Vancouver. I mean, I feel like that's why most days I don't want to go anywhere, because I am paying so much for this apartment. I will be here and I will make the most of what I'm paying. You want to hang out? In my apartment. You want to have a meeting? In my apartment. Everything and anything in my apartment. Let's make the most of what I'm paying. Again, it's all in perspective. I just feel like I was saving so much more money when I was in a relationship than me being single right now. Like, I feel like I need to start making mukbang videos or some ASMR videos just to get that YouTube money rolling in, or maybe get that sexy website going. No, I'm kidding. So for everyone who's single out there, whew, stay strong.
I am 41 years old and I have absolutely no savings.
Yeah, that's just terrible. That is one of my biggest nightmares. Like, imagine getting to your 40s with no retirement at all. Like, surely she has like at least like a 401k or like a pension plan. I'm hoping. And she means like actual, just accessible retirement savings, because that is very scary.
For retirement. I've spent the last 10 or 12 years being a broke single mom and at times living off of food stamps.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially with compound interest in your 20s and 30s, if you are not able to save any money, and like it doesn't matter what the market is returning. If the market's returning like 25% like the last 2 years it has, or the 10% average, doesn't really matter if you literally are living paycheck to paycheck and you just can't afford to invest anything.
Any time I've ever gotten ahead financially, I've always had a setback. I'm currently like $14,000 in credit card debt and $83,000 in.
Well, see that, I mean, the credit card debt is the real killer. Like, you may be looking at student debt as like 83,000 and credit card debt is only 14,000, but you just know that credit card debt is at like a 25% interest rate and you're just not catching up on it. You're not making progress, because realistically, if you get in this situation, you probably are living paycheck to paycheck and don't have extra money. So to pay off $14,000 of credit card debt at probably 25% interest, that's just so hard to even get out of. Like, that just becomes an endless loop. She's just going to constantly be in credit card debt. And then the student loan debt on top, like, absolutely brutal.
Student loan debt. And I don't even have a master's degree. I went to University of Phoenix and got scammed. And I'm hoping to get my University of Phoenix.
Yeah, those loans not going to get forgiven, unfortunately. I will say, you know, the US, it has good jobs and good kind of like opportunities, But the biggest problem with the US, I think, still remains at how expensive college is. I don't know how important a degree is. It's definitely becoming less important here in like UK and Ireland, but it is still quite important, especially in certain roles. But the problem is, like in the US, I see so many people go into like 100, 200K student debt, which like that's just such an insane number. Like you're starting off your life minus 200K at like a 6% interest rate. Like that's so insane. That's like half a house here that you're just in debt for instantly off the gate. Now, the US salaries are so high that you can kind of get away with it if you pick a good field. But if you get a degree in like arts and you can't get a good job out of it, you still have that like 100, 200K that just following you around the whole time. And then if it's like private student loans, it's even worse, I think. That's rough. Because like I did get to graduate, at least with my degree, with no student debt at all. Because in Ireland, it's only 3,000 euros a year, which is, you know, pretty doable. So I was able to pay that out of pocket.
Phoenix loans forgiven, but that's still pending. Even at that, I still owe $27,000 because I ended up going to a brick and mortar school. So I don't know when.
I don't really know what she means by $27,000 on a brick and mortar, but maybe you guys know and can let me know in the comments.
And I'm ever going to retire, I plan on dying at my cubicle.
The night before school, I packed 2 lunch bags for both of my kids. I have to at least be in bed by 11:30 the latest. I get up every morning at 6:15 to make sure that my oldest daughter is on her school bus by 7 or 7:10 in the morning. After that, I come back upstairs and get my youngest daughter ready for school. She has to be to school at 8:30. Yes, they go to 2 different schools. Before they get out.
Yeah, that 2 different schools is a killer. But honestly, just like single parent, like for a part of my life, I grew up with like single dad, and it's just actually insane the amount of effort it is. So difficult. Like even if you take the financial aspect like out of it, right? Let's pretend it's not like insanely expensive and difficult. Just the amount of effort and work that goes into it. Like you're obviously working a job the whole day, and you're the only person taking care of the house and your kid.
Out of school, I have to handle all my business. While handling said business, it seems like school flies by so fucking fast. So I don't get a chance to get no type of rest. They come home, I have to make sure this house is clean. I have to cook dinner and do it all over again the next day. And yes, I pay all the bills. I pay the rent. I pay the light bill. I pay the gas bill. I buy the food. So no, you can't have my number. I don't want to talk. I don't have time to kick. Half the time, I'll be too tired to even converse with people. Every time I gave somebody this experience, they showed me why I should just stay to myself and focus on me and my kids. 2024, all about me and my kids. Point blank, period. I don't have time for no man and his drama that he come with. I'm not playing with nobody. I'm about to be 30. I'm good.
Okay, y'all, I am pissed. And yeah, I'm coming on here to talk to you guys about
A loan to buy groceries. I mean, maybe it's better than credit card debt. At least it's a lower interest rate, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing good to say about ever having to take out a loan for groceries.
it. I'm so tired of being broke. I have done all the right things. And I am working as much as I can, being a single mom, trying not to take away more time away from my child. So I'm doing TikTok and I am trying to do as many lives, but get enough sleep so I'm healthy for my child, but also find a time to work out, find a time for me. That's not including any of those things. And I just had to freaking take out a loan to buy groceries. Like, I had to use a firm and pay.
Oh, it was a firm. Okay. Well, hopefully it pays it back on time.
Interest for my bare minimum fucking groceries. And you know what, for everybody that is going to be like, it's your fault for being a single mom, it's your fault for being in debt, it's not. Like, and I know that. I know it's not my fault, and I know I'm doing everything, but it doesn't make it any better. Like, the fact that for bare minimum groceries, I am now having to pay a monthly thing, and I had to make it the smallest amount because I don't have any extras. So I had to make it the small amount. So I'm going to be stretching this over a frickin' year, paying $12 extra each month because I don't have extra dollars. And then next month I'm going to be even more debt because now I have this added on top of it. But I'm going to...
That's the thing, like, because it is the inverse of investing, right? Investing, you love it, you're getting the interest, you're getting your return, it's compounding on top of each other and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Except the exact same thing happens the opposite way with debt, where, you know, you get these little payments, they start adding up, you get a bit of interest and getting a bit more interest, now you're getting interest on the interest, and your debt is just getting bigger and bigger. And honestly, there's just so many ways to get debt now as well. I think that's the big thing. Like, obviously, this was like with a firm, one of those like after-pay Klarna kind of things. Like, you can even, I think, put like your credit card on that, so you can like pay a loan with a loan essentially, and it can just get out of hand.
I'm going to need more groceries after this week to feed my son and I. Like, I don't get how people are surviving. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. And I know I'm not the only one. I needed to come on and say it. Okay, thanks.
So I recently deleted 2 videos of mine. That's not something I usually do, but I wanted to tell you the reason why I did it, because the content is important to me, but the abuse wasn't. I recently spoke about how I don't like the imbalance between people who are getting married and their single friends that they expect things of with regards to those weddings. Most of the expectations are financial, but there are also time expectations and stuff like that. I don't think that single people should be financially burdened for the weddings of other people, and for some reason, the entire fucking internet had a problem with that. And I have a problem with that. When I make a logical point that a single person should not be financially burdened just so they can attend or participate in someone else's wedding, and I'm seen as a selfish person, I fucking can't. I can't. I don't have it in me to...
Well, I mean, this is an interesting topic, to be fair. Well, first of all, I mean, the gifts, I guess technically optional. But, like, the amount you give is, like, up to you as well, right? But you do have to remember, like, putting on a wedding is super expensive, and you are getting invited, and you're at this kind of party, and you do get, like, a dinner and normally drinks and stuff. So, you know, I think it's fine to request like a gift.
Fight that every day, and I'm okay admitting that. I'm okay expressing the limits of my mental health and the number of times per day I can read the same fucking abusive comment on my work. And I will speak more about the entitlement of wedding culture in the future, I'm sure, but for now I just wanted to remind single people, especially as we move into the holiday season, that you are not less, that you are not obligated to burden yourself for anyone at all. If you are ever in a position where somebody is degrading you because you don't want to spend money for something they chose to do with their life, ask them how they...
Well, you know, you can also just, 1, not attend a wedding, but like 2, I don't know, I don't think it's as deep as she's making it out. But maybe she got like some crazy hate comments. But also, it depends what her opinion was in those videos, so I'm not sure.
Would feel if their rent doubled a day, because that's what it's like for a single person paying rent alone or paying a mortgage alone, while people in couples split it. One of the biggest financial burdens that...
Once again, not exactly the same, because you can have roommates, probably divided up evenly, and you're gonna have a smaller place. Couple needs more space. But anyways, still, it is harder if you're single.
In our world today is being single, and a lot of us aren't fucking choosing this. And when I expressed a need for a little bit of compassion for single people who are living and paying for life alone, I got abused moment to moment, and I can't take that anymore. So I just wanted to let you know why those videos aren't there anymore, but the beliefs very much are.
You guys, I can't afford it. I can't afford life. I just can't. It's so hard. It's so expensive. It's so darn expensive to live nowadays. I just can't.
I mean, this is in general. This isn't really a single person thing, but yeah, I mean, in general, super expensive to live. I do think, though, there has to be like a breaking point and some sort of reset to an extent. Because if you just look at like house prices, grocery prices, rent prices, kind of take those as the main ones and just compare it to like average salaries, the multiplier has just never been this high. So from like an average salary to an average house price, the multiplier has just never been this big. So I do think at some point, like, it's gonna crack. Like, there's no way you can just keep pushing up rents, house prices, everything, and just not push up wages the same amount. Eventually just people won't be able to afford it. Because even nowadays, so many people are getting like help from like their parents or families, or they're just in so much debt, like they're taking out so much loans just to exist, that like it's gonna get to a point where people just start defaulting on mortgage repayments, on credit card debt, on whatever, and it's just gonna like completely collapse. I mean, it has to. It just can't go on like this.
Can't do it. I don't know how everybody else is doing it. I don't know what kind of money you're making. Where are you guys working? That is normal people. I'm talking about normal people. I'm talking about not influencers, not these crazy high corporate jobs, normal jobs. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's tough. That's like the real like odd part. Like, because if you do still have like a good skill, like the high paying jobs are still there, and then you can obviously survive. But on average, which is the key thing I want to take away, it really is in a bad state.
Because apparently I'm doing something wrong. I can't afford life.
Here's what I spend in a week as a broke bitch living alone in Toronto. I spent $110 on groceries and $22 at Shoppers. Usually I try to keep my weekly grocery bill below $80, but whenever I run out of things like cleaning supplies, it always puts me over. I bought a coffee and a matcha on campus, which was $9.84. I usually try to avoid spending money on coffee, but it's finals week and I need the caffeine. Spent another $52 at Shoppers getting feminine hygiene products and a concealer, and $42.93 on protein powder. If anyone knows where to buy a cheap protein powder, please tell me, because it always breaks the bank. My total came out to $237.86, and I officially hate Toronto's cost of living crisis.
Okay, I need y'all to understand.
To be honest, that's pretty expensive. The protein powder, surely that lasts longer than a week. There's no way it costs over $40 for 1 week's of protein powder. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just like really expensive in Canada. Also, I guess like spending like the $8 or $9 or whatever on like a coffee isn't the end of the world. But if you really are struggling, I guess you shouldn't be going out for coffee, but not gonna make that much difference. And cleaning products. Any of those things, especially, you know what's really expensive as well? The like laundry washing pods. Stuff like that, man, that adds up. It is so expensive. But overall, I guess it's a pretty realistic kind of week. That's just kind of how much it costs.
Something. So I started posting on Instagram when I travel, I started posting my hotels. Obviously, I'm smart about this, okay? I post the hotel after I leave the hotel. I don't post it while I'm still there, okay? But I started posting my hotels, and I started posting my hotels because I'm tired. I am tired of these dusty men in my DMs trying to take me out and take me places, okay? And when they try to take me out and take me places, I be seeing the places they want to take me. And I'm looking like, you see where I take myself, okay? You see where I take myself, okay? The dinners that I be posting, you know those dinners cost, I don't know, $150, $200 for me, for just me, okay? For just
$150 or $200. I don't think I've ever had my personal dinner be over, I want to say like 85, 100 pounds, like, and that's if I'm like getting drinks, like 150, 200 for just, oh dear.
Me. They're nice places, they're fancy, whatever. My hotel rooms, you know those cost, I don't know, $400, $500 a night.
400, 500, okay. To be fair, I stayed in one nice place in Vegas, and I think the hotel room was $1,000 for one night. It was split amongst 3 people, but it was nice, but it's never worth it. Absolutely not.
Maybe for just me, okay? Why do you think you should date me? Like, literally, like, please, let's be realistic, okay?
It's one of these, the high maintenance. I could never deal with this. I think even if I like had loads of money, this would just stress me out, man. These people care so much about like money and just like showing off stuff more than they actually like would care about the person they're dating.
You're telling me that a single mom who wants to rent a $2,500 a month rental for her and her kids has to make $7,500 a month just to move in? There's a reoccurring issue in the rental market that I see happening over and over again in all of our community.
Is that a thing in the US? It's 3x? Interesting. Here it's really just 2x. So you need to make like $2,000 a month. Well, yeah, about $2,000 a month if your rent is $1,000 a month. I guess that's like a 3x multiplier, which is actually quite high. be fair.
Facebook, rental home groups. As we all know, there's many rental properties on the market right now due to sellers not being able to sell. And these properties are actually priced affordably. However, the requirement that a renter needs to make 3 times the rent in order to move in is just, it's nuts. And because nobody can qualify for that, these rental companies are lowering the prices on their already reasonably priced rentals. And it's like, instead of lowering the price on this already properly priced rental, why not just lower the requirements? I'm all for...
I mean, it might be a legal requirement. I'm pretty sure here in London, the multiplier is like 30x. Your rent payment, you need 30x of it to be your salary, your gross salary, which kind of works out as basically 2-to-1 net salary. But yeah, I would assume it's a legal requirement, but maybe they are just doing it as their own thing. It would also probably be because, they have the data or they have previous experience of people just missing payments. So they don't really want to take those risks.
Screening people, background checks, but 3 times the rent required to move in, you're making these rental properties unattainable.
As a new single mom who was a stay-at-home mom for the last 10 years, I truly did not think I'd be able to afford rent here in LA for a long
I do know those LA rents are crazy expensive.
time. 2 weeks ago, I was crying to my best friend and telling her, I'm so defeated. It's never gonna happen. I just don't even think that I can do it. She was encouraging me and she's like, you're strong, you can do it.
Actually, especially as a single mom, because you're not even getting 1 bed. You got to get a 2 or 3 bed. Oh, wow. Yep.
She's like, I know you'll find a way. What did she say? Something about how I know you're not going down without a fight. And that is true. I'm scrappy. And here I am, 2 weeks later, just signed my first lease for my very own apartment for me and my kids in LA County, my hometown.
Girl.
The sun is coming in full force right now. Pretty sure God loves me. Oh yeah, and pretty sure I'm really proud of myself.